1 John chapter 5, which was the next one that was going, here it is right here. The next one that's going to be coming up says, whoever believes, that's 1 John 5:1, and I'm not sure exactly what happened to 1 John 5:1. See that little apostrophe mark? That actually says 1 John 5:1. Whoever believes that Jesus is the Christ is born of God, and whoever loves the Father loves the child born of Him. Now think for just a moment. Let's repeat that. Whoever believes that Jesus is the Christ is born of God. How do we understand that? Well, if you were raised as I was raised in a General Association of Regular Baptist Church, GARB church, probably the way you'd understand that would be, well, if you believe that Jesus is the Christ, as a result of that, you are born of God. So, believe in Jesus, and as a result, you are born again. Right? Isn't that how most people probably understand it? What is the time relationship between believes and born of God? Well, it's sort of difficult to tell just looking at the translation, isn't it? Does the text tell us what the relationship is? Whether the believing comes first or the born of God comes first? Yes, it does. The term believes is a present participle, the one believing. Whoever is believing that Jesus is the Christ. The believing one. It's the normal term that John uses to describe a believer. He says, whoever believes that Jesus is the Christ and then is born of God comes from a single perfect tense verb. And you all have heard of a perfect tense verb. Remember what Jesus said on the cross? Tetelestai. It is finished. The perfect tense verb. Finished with completed action, and that extends into the future. And so, when you put the two together, a perfect tense verb refers to a past action with abiding results. Hence, all who are caused to be born by God in the past are in the present believing. The new birth precedes and determines the ongoing faith of the elect. So what it's saying is, whoever is believing, whoever is a believer that Jesus is the Christ, is born of God. That is, has already been born of God and is continuing to be in that state of being a child of God. The being born into the family of God precedes the action of believing. Now this is illustrated if we look at another passage in 1 John. Look at 1 John 2:29. If you know that He is righteous, you know that everyone also who practices righteousness is born of Him. Now look at that last phrase. Everyone who practices righteousness is born of Him. Which one comes first? Do you practice righteousness so you can be born of Him? Or is it that everyone who is born of Him practices righteousness? Well, I think we all know the answer to that. You don't practice righteousness to get yourself born. It's like saying, all who are born of Pastor Lees will play the saxophone. How's that? Now, which one comes first? Do they play the saxophone so they can be born? Or do they play the saxophone because they've been born into that family? Well, that one's pretty obvious, isn't it? Well, in the same way, here in 1 John 2:29, being born of Him precedes the doing of righteousness, the practicing of righteousness, and it's because we've been born of God that we do righteous things. It's the exact same parallel in the original language with 1 John 5:1. Whoever is believing, whoever is practicing righteousness, has been born of Him and is a child of God. This is something that the children of God do. And so in reality, 1 John 5:1 is telling us that if you believe that Jesus is the Christ, if you are exercising faith, if you are a believer, it is because God has caused you to be born again, not the other way around, no matter how often it is preached that way. The Scriptures are very plain on the subject.